Imagine you're sitting in a dark room, your hand resting on a table in front of you. A rubber hand, eerily similar to yours, is placed beside it, but it's not connected to your body. Now, a researcher begins to tap the rubber hand gently with a brush, the sensation seemingly coming from your own hand. At first, you laugh it off. But then, something strange happens. You feel it. You feel the touch, on your real hand, not the rubber one. It's as though the line between reality and illusion has blurred. How is this possible? And more importantly, if your own mind can be tricked so easily, what does that say about the world around you? This is the rubber hand illusion. A psychological trick that proves just how fragile and malleable our sense of reality truly is. But why does our brain allow us to feel something that isn't even there? What's going on inside our minds when we're convinced that an inanimate object is a part of us? To understand this, we must first dive into the brain's astonishing ability to create a coherent perception of the world, and how it can sometimes be effortlessly deceived. In the 1990s, two neuroscientists, Matthew Botvinnik and Jonathan Cohen, conducted a seemingly simple experiment that would later change our understanding of human perception. They wanted to explore the connection between the body and the brain's representation of it. Their approach was deceptively simple. They placed a rubber hand in front of participants, while their real hand was hidden from view, placed under a table. The subjects were asked to watch as the researcher gently stroked the rubber hand with a paintbrush, synchronizing it with the same touch on their hidden real hand. To their surprise, after just a few minutes, the participants began to report feeling the brush on the rubber hand. But the real kicker? Some of them even reacted as though the rubber hand was their own. The brain had effectively adopted the fake hand into the body's map of itself. This was the birth of the rubber hand illusion, a vivid demonstration of how our sense of self can be hijacked, how our reality is not the absolute truth we assume it to be. The rubber hand illusion works because of a phenomenon known as body ownership. This refers to the brain's ability to integrate sensory information and create a sense of self around it. Normally, our brain combines visual, tactile, and proprioceptive body position information to create a seamless experience of our physical presence in the world. But what happens when the brain is given conflicting signals? When you see the rubber hand being stroked while your real hand is out of sight, your brain gets mixed signals. It sees the rubber hand, but it also feels the touch on your hidden real hand. The brain begins to reconcile these two streams of information, gradually accepting the rubber hand as part of your body. This is a process called multisensory integration, where your mind blends multiple sensory inputs to form a coherent perception. Over time, your brain starts to believe that the rubber hand is really yours, making the illusion feel almost as real as your actual body. What's even more disturbing is that this illusion can trigger an automatic protective response. When the rubber hand is threatened, for example, by a sharp object moving toward it, many participants feel a jolt of panic, as though their real hand were in danger. This further illustrates how deeply our brain anchors our identity to our physical form, so deeply, in fact, that it can accept an artificial object as a genuine extension of the self. Perhaps the most unsettling real-world example of this phenomenon lies in the case of people who suffer from somatoparaphrenia, a rare condition where a person denies ownership of a limb or even an entire side of their body. In some extreme cases, individuals with this disorder believe their own arm belongs to someone else or is a foreign object. This is a terrifying breakdown of the brain's body ownership system. While the rubber hand illusion shows how the brain can be tricked into accepting a fake hand as real, somatoparaphrenia demonstrates how the opposite can happen. The brain can also reject parts of the body as other, effectively severing the mind's connection to the body in a way that leads to profound confusion and detachment. In a famous case study from 1996, a man suffering from somatoparaphrenia refused to acknowledge his left arm as part of his body after a stroke. The man even became aggressive when doctors tried to examine it. believing that the arm belonged to someone else. His brain no longer integrated sensory signals from that arm, leading to a complete rejection of it from his perception of self. In this instance, the brain not only failed to accept an artificial hand as real, but it also rejected a real limb entirely. The rubber hand illusion and conditions like somatoparaphrenia highlight the mind's fragile grip on the reality of the body. One small disruption in sensory processing can cause us to believe things that aren't true, whether it's a rubber hand or an entire arm. But what about you? You might not have a rubber hand tricking your brain right now, but have you ever had that weird feeling when your foot falls asleep? You know, that tingling sensation when you wake up and suddenly can't feel your foot, only to have it come back to life in the most awkward way, sending waves of strange sensations through your nerves? It's a moment when your brain's sense of body ownership is momentarily interrupted. Just like the rubber hand illusion, your brain is struggling to reconcile the feeling of something being there, but not quite right. Or perhaps you felt a sensation on your skin, only to look and find there's nothing there. No mosquito, no touch, no physical explanation. This too is your brain playing tricks, feeding you false information about your surroundings. It's easy to dismiss these moments as simple quirks, but they reveal something deeper about our perceptions of reality. How many other moments are we living in a world that doesn't quite align with what's really there? And that's just the beginning. If our brains can be fooled by something as simple as a rubber hand, how easily can we be tricked in other ways? What happens when your mind starts bending reality beyond the physical world, into emotions, beliefs, and even memories? The truth is, your brain is constantly reshaping your perception. So how much of what you think you know is real? And that is why you need to watch the next video.